All right, so we're going to go back and redo this floor. I'm going to go to first floor, and then I'm going to hit the floor button. I'm automatically in the pick walls selection. Click, 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 and then I'm going to go ahead and hit the OK button. I'm leaving it as generic 12. I hit OK. I go out to my 3D view, and you guys can now see that the floor is underneath that house, whatever we want to call this building. This beautiful piece of architectural masterpiece. All right, so we have a first floor. Can anybody tell me if I'm trying to put a floor on top of these walls, can anybody tell me what plan I need to be on?
The second
Roof?
floor plan?
Because doesn't go under then?
It's second floor. So I need to be on my second floor because the floor is going to go under your feet. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I already have first floor opened up. I don't need first floor. I need to double click on my second floor. And what you should see, if you did everything right so far, you should actually see the walls coming up. You should see the other walls that are under, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm going to my second floor. I've got these walls that are under, and now I'm going to create a floor. I don't know the answer to that, Ria. I feel like it is now, but I feel like it's also open until 8 o'clock tonight as well. So I'm going to go, I'll find out for the virtual machine time in just a few. I think I have an email that said that. So what I'm going to do now is you're welcome. I'm going to go ahead and create the floor for the second floor, but I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. Okay. Let me show you. Don't try to follow along. Let me just kind of step through it, and then I'll go back and redo it and explain it. And I'll tell you what I'm trying to do. I'm going to set it here. I'm going to set it here, and I'm going to set it here. However, I don't want the floor to go all the way over. I want this area over here to be a 2-story tall area. I want this area over here to have the floor. So I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to grab the line tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag a line across here. Okay. And so what's going to happen at this point is I have an issue. These other purple lines were too long, right? So they extended the full length of the wall, and I can't allow that to happen. Otherwise, it's going to mess up my wall. So I actually have to use what Revit calls the trim command, which acts differently than the AutoCAD. So I'm going to select this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select on the two pieces that I want to keep. I want to keep this, and I want to keep this. And I come up here, I want to keep this, and I want to keep this. And you'll see now that my wall, my floor line goes around here and then comes up that interior wall. And just like before, I'm just going to hit the OK button. And then it says, do you want it to attach? So I'm going to say attach. We're not really going to talk about why and what that's doing. Honestly, right now, it's not too important. So I'm going to come out and look at this in 3D. And what you guys are going to see here is I created a floor. It's shaded in because it's selected. I created a floor just on top of that one area, and we left this other side open. Okay, so let me undo that back. Okay, and I'm going to go to my second floor again. So this is where we can kind of step through this thing together. So I'm on my second floor plan. Make sure you are not on your first floor plan because our floors are being created underneath of our view. So I'm going to hit floor. I'm going to use my pick wall command. I'm going to select, select, select. And again, the difference is that I'm actually going to draw my line in this time. So I'm going to use my draw. I'm going to be really cautious and make sure I grab that intersection to that intersection. And then I'm going to use this trim command here. And again, you got to select what you want to keep. I want to keep this section, and I want to keep this section. And then I want to keep this, and I want to keep this. So then it creates a rectangle right in this area. Once I do that, I can hit OK. Attach, yes. And bring the heights down, yes.
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
so I went into my second floor and the whole architecture panel is grayed out for me. Like I can't select anything.
What's all the way over on the right-hand side? Does it say
Work
modify?
plane set.
Does it say modify floors at the very, very top, like architecture, structure, steel, precast, the far right one, what does it say?
Oh, modify / create floor boundary. Since I have a split screen, it's cut off, but there's a double arrow and it's there.
There you go. Click on that, and you either have to hit the X or the check mark to get in or out of that current. You were in another command somehow.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, I have
so
a feeling
if I hit the check mark or the X mark, probably the X because I don't want to keep whatever I was in.
Actually, I have a
then
feeling
when I go back to architecture, it should be fine.
I have a feeling that you're still in your first floor development. So you actually haven't accepted your first floor yet. So I would probably hit the check mark and then delete any artifacts that you don't want.
Okay.
All right?
Mr. Walker,
Yes.
do the trim again? Or there's like 3 different trims. Which one was it that you used?
Yeah. So I'm using this first one right here that just says trim / extend to corner. There are some other ones here that are like up to elements and things like that. Just ignore those. Use the one next to the rotate command.
Do you double click?
Just single. So yeah, let me step through that again. Let me just go back a little bit here. Okay, so my pink lines are extending through. So what I do is I single click this. I want to keep this section of the line, and I want to keep this section of the line. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here. I want to keep this section, and I want to keep this section. And then I hit OK. And then I hit attach, and then I hit yes. Good? Okay.
Yep.
So the next thing I want to show you is that, we were able to create that floor. I do just want to show you one more thing before I get out of that floor. I'm actually going to delete that floor. Actually, I'm going to undo that floor. Okay. Let me just go back. And actually, I'm just going to hit cancel. Make sure you want to discard it. Yes. So I'm going to go back to my second floor level, and I want to show you an alternative method. As opposed to like going around and doing those pick walls, which I could do, click, 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 draw a line, trim, trim. Another way I could do it is I could simply use my rectangle tool, and I could draw my floor boundary from here down to here. So I could actually skip the step of doing the trims if I did it this way. A lot of times people don't do it this way because they want to make sure that it's locked onto their walls. But this is an alternative that I just wanted to make sure that you guys understood and seen that you could do. So I basically generated the same floor by doing it that way. All right, everybody good with that? I think we should be. All right, so now we're going to move on to our next spot, and our next spot is going to be to create a set of stairs that connect our first floor to our second floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on the stair button now. And again, guys, I want to go back to this over on the property palettes. You guys do have options again, right? So right now you have an assembled stair, 7-inch max risers, 11-inch treads, or a monolithic. This is a concrete stair. So this would be like, if you guys think about your garage, a lot of your garages that have multiple steps to go from your garage to your first floor, they're typically like concrete steps. That's what we call a monolithic stair. Also, if you think about like the front of a commercial building where you have like concrete steps that are going up, again, that's also what we would call a monolithic staircase. What we're going to do is we're just going to use the default assembled stair. And there are some settings here, right? Like actual tread depth, 11 inches. There's a bunch of different things that you can do here. Yes, Cash, you should hit yes on that. So this stair, when I hit this staircase, when I hit this stair button again, you'll see over here in the property palette, this thing updates. And you'll see it has two things in here: base level, first floor plan; top level, second floor plan. That's exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to go from the first floor to the second floor. And so this is going to be a little tricky for you guys, okay? So I want to make sure that I explain this well. I always draw my stairs away from where I really want it. So if you guys think back to AutoCAD, remember how like I would tell you guys to copy away from things that don't interfere? I'm doing the same thing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a very basic straight run staircase. Nothing special. I'm not going to L shape it or do anything like that. I'm just doing a straight run stair. So quite simply, if we look up here, I have options to draw my staircase. I can draw it. I can do a full spiral. I can do an arced. I can do an L shape. I can do a U shape. There's all kinds, and I can even do like a freehand. So I could actually do like a really crazy looking staircase here. We're going to keep it very simple. I'm going to do a straight run staircase. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this out. And you'll see here, Revit is telling me, oh, you got 11 risers. I need 8 more. Oh, I got 13. You need 6 more. And it's basically showing me where I really need to take it, right? You guys can see that it's showing me where I want to take it. So once I click here, it says 19 risers created, 0 remaining. Once I click, I have my staircase. And if I look at it, there's my staircase. Okay? Nothing too fancy. It just is a basic staircase. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back to my first floor. And I'm going to use my move command. And now I'm going to move it from that point right there. I'm going to bring it into this point right there. Right there. Okay? So I just basically put it up against that wall. I'm going to come out to my 3D view, and we're going to look at it. You guys can notice here I have an error. I've got a window that's crashing into a stairwell, which is a big issue. So if I look at my north elevation, you can't even see it. It's just barely clipping into it. But that's okay. I'm going to go back to my 3D view plan. And once I'm happy with my staircase, I can say, all right, I'm ready to go. I'm happy with that. That's what I want. I got to hit the check mark to basically tell Revit that's what I want. And you can see here, Revit then goes back in and creates our railing. Then what I can do is I can start doing modifying from that, right? So I really don't want the railing on that side, so I can delete that railing. I've got a couple other things. One, I need to move this window down, so I can just take this thing and I'm actually going to move it out of the stairwell because there's some issues with that. You can have them, but they got to be special types of windows. So now I've got my window out of my stairwell. I've erased the railing on the one side. I've still got my railing on the other side. Everything thus far is looking pretty good. So currently we are moving right along on our floor plan. So I'm going to do a couple more things here. One, I'm going to go ahead and just put in railing along this edge because I don't want people to fall. Then we're going to put in just a wall and add a room or two down here. So I'm going to do the walls first. I'm going to click on wall. I'm going to come back to our basic interior wall. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a very simple floor plan, okay? So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here. And I'm just going to add another wall across there. I'm happy with that. I'm going to call that 2 bedrooms, 2 rooms, 2 offices, 2 whatever. It doesn't really make a difference. Yours doesn't have to be the same, but you can make it the same. I don't want a double door, so I'm going to come back in here and select a single door. I'm going to put a single door down in this corner, and I'm going to put a door down here. So I've got those 2 doors. So I'm going to look at this in 3D again, and I'm going to tell you that I made a mistake intentionally on the walls. And does anybody want to guess at what I didn't do to the walls when I started creating them?
Didn't make them your interior walls?
I actually did change them to the interior walls. Oh, and actually, you know what? I didn't make the mistake because it was already set as a default. What I didn't set, but I got lucky, was I didn't set the height. Remember where we're going to lock the constraint to the height? I want the height to go up to the roof now because I'm working on the second floor. So it's going from the floor that I'm on to whatever my height constraint is. And just by some happenstance, it was already set to roof. Normally, it would be set to unconnected and the walls would shoot 10 feet extra out of the floor. But it was actually set properly. So I'm just going to draw a little closet in here. Put in, oh, I did a misclick. And I'm going to put in another, come on, don't crash. Put in another wall across here. And just for fun, I'm going to put in one more door. Beautiful, beautiful. It's flipped the wrong way, so I'm going to flip the door. And let's look at it in 3D. There we go. We've got our first floor. We've got our first floor deck, which was that flooring that we put in down here. We've got our exterior walls. Yes, ma'am.
So on my model, I'm like 3 or 4 steps behind. I was trying to move my staircase into the corner, but I had a window right there, so I was trying to delete the window, but it's not letting me do anything besides the staircase. Because I'm dumb. I didn't click the check mark.
You didn't check the check. Yep. And
it's
guys,
it's like I need to say it out loud to figure out what I missed.
And so I do want to make one thing because I haven't gotten to it yet, but that check mark is a very important thing that you do have to hit. However, if for some reason, like Katie was in the mix of dealing with her stairs and she was like, this window is just on my last nerve and I've got to get rid of it before I can even conceptualize anything else with the stairs. So Katie's literally going, I need to hit the check mark, then I can delete the window, right? But let's just say Katie wasn't quite done working with the stairs. What you can then do is you can highlight the stairs and hit this button that says edit. And it takes you right back into that stair editing mode that you were in before you hit the check mark. So you can always get back to this editing section by simply doing that. And then obviously hit the check mark and it'll accept your changes. So I only got a few more things that I want to do to this, okay? So I'm going to additionally add the railing across here. And so railing works very similar to a wall. I got to be on the floor that I want the railing. I'm going to click the railing command. And quite simply, I'm just going to draw a line. And I want it to go to, and the railing you have to play around with a little bit. I'm actually not a huge fan of the railing. And you'll see here that I can flip it from one side to the other. I actually want it to go in. So I flipped it. Let's look at it in 3D and see what we got. All right. So there we go. I got my railing. Again, guys, to go back and not to keep repeating myself, I can change the type of railing. Right? So if you look over here, if you highlight it, just like when we had walls, right, I could change this wall to an exterior brick wall simply by clicking on it, coming over to my properties palette and changing it to an exterior brick wall. You can see now, obviously, I have a brick wall on my first or on my second floor plan, which would not be the right thing to do, but you can see how you can modify it, highlight it, properties, select the wall. Again, I just fixed that wall. Same thing applies for the doors, right? I want to change this door. You know what? I want to change this closet door to a glass door. Highlight the door. Go into my edit type. Go into my glass doors. There it is. It obviously doesn't fit, and nobody will want a glass door on their closet, but you guys get the point. I'm going to change that back to a standard flush. And the same thing's going to apply for railing. I can have various style railings. I can highlight the railing, come into my properties, I can change it to a pipe rail, right? Very commercial looking pipe rail with handrail or with a grab bar, right? I could do the same thing for the staircase. What type of railing? I want it to be pipe. I don't know why I want it to be pipe, but I want it to be pipe. Okay, so you can start to come in and really start to modify up your models just by using the different properties. All right, so I'm going to stop the video there. and address questions.